I believe it's worth mentioning that as of the recording of this video, the date being the 22nd of October 2025, I have 802 videos and I have 223 subscribers now. Shout out to the person who subbed yesterday. And my friend asked me a really important question. I believe it was sometime last month. He said to me, "Gordon, why do you record YouTube videos?" And honestly, man, I could give you this super sexy answer, but unfortunately I don't. And it simply just comes down to doing stuff that you enjoy. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. You know, I've always wanted to do YouTube, man, since I was 7 years old in 2013. I don't know why, but there's just something about it that just really resonated with me, man. It's just the fact I'm able to say whatever I want. Free speech, say whatever the hell you want, you know, just pretty much do the stuff that you regularly do, but I can get monetized on the interests that I do. I can literally create something out of my mind, right, and then turn it into real life. You watching this video, whether that be in the form of me speaking or working out, or, you know, art or poetry or instrumentals or whatever it may be, I can do that and literally turn it into life. Why would I not take advantage of that? You know, when I was a kid, I was never, I always, something about the 9-to-5 system, it never stood with me. It never resonated. And I've worked 4 jobs, guys, at 19 years old. So a year ago, I worked in 2 sales jobs. The year before that, I worked in 2 gyms. All 4 of those jobs, I wasn't paid shit. And that was majority of the time I felt like my time was being wasted. One of the most valuable things that I have. And I'm a polymath. I consider myself a polymath. I have many interests. And it did annoy me. I remember when I was working my first sales job, so my third actual job. I guess you could say first job, because my first 2 jobs in the gym were more so work experience for college. But I remember the day I was looking at my schedule. And the day before that, I had so many things going on in my schedule, man. So many things, because I have a lot of interests, right? I don't just do one thing. I'm not just Gordon that goes to the gym. I do many other things too. And it was an exciting day. It was something worth looking forward to. And then the next day, which was being the day I was in the workplace, I would ask my team leader, "All right, let me tell me when that is so I can note it down." Guys, I shit you not, bro. A third of the day was just a big fat block bar that said work. And I was fucking depressed. Now, I had a lot of energy. I'm probably one of the most energetic people there. But I consider myself a stoic individual. I can mask it very well. So I was really depressed that I wasn't happy. And even if I were to potentially get paid a lot more than the average wage, with that job being a commission only, I wasn't happy. I couldn't edit YouTube videos. I barely had time to train. And I was just walking, in the back areas of London, the unattractive areas of London, knocking on doors all day. That's a boring life. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't want to make money that way, bro. You could pay me £500 to do that, £500 an hour to do that. I still wouldn't be happy. That's real talk. Because I know my purpose in life is more than just knocking on people's doors all day. It's walking. It was affecting my bulk. And I was tracking my food on my fitness pals. I always do. Still do to this day. But I was doing that, and bro, even then I was losing weight. And I was thinking, why? I planned it perfectly. You know, my fitness pal app says, "Oh, eat this amount of food, you're gonna gain this amount of weight." I weigh myself every Sunday, so I stepped on the scales. Why am I not gaining any weight? Oh, okay. It's because you're doing the job is walking door to door, so you're knocking on doors all day. So that's already some form of aerobic endurance. Not in a heavy sense, but it's still the same nevertheless. Cardio is being done. And so, explained why I lost so much weight. And it sucked. Because when you have a 9-to-5, guys, you don't really have control over your stuff. I'm speaking from experience, guys. I did it myself, guys. I was walking, and this process was going on for like maybe 3 weeks. When I was doing that, I could even keep track of my weight. The weight was deflating. So even that was a drawback, and it was annoying. It was agonizing, you know. So that's one of the many reasons. And just going back to what I thought as a child, and when I would watch YouTubers online, they looked like they were having a lot of fun. Sure, it may not be the conventional job, the conventional age and whatnot, But time is changing. Bro, there's 20-year-olds that are millionaires already. And let's make it even more realistic. There's 20-year-olds that are making 6 figures. Or more than average wage. And they exist. And they're living a totally different life. Speaking about the work, I often mentioned this many times, but I was working at my job, and no shame to my sales team leader. I think he's a great guy, but I was working with him. And one thing I always like to do, I always like to ask people their age. He said I was 28 years old. And guess who I met during my sales job when I was just cold approaching people? I met Annie Singid last October. How old was he? He was 28 too. I've been watching Gib for years. I met this guy, millionaire, who was training for a fight at the time. But it's the fact that he had the freedom to train for a fight. I think I saw him at like 12, 1 and 1, 2 p.m. That's when everyone is still working in the conventional sense, and me being a testament to that. I was still working out there. I saw Gib. Bro was training in hours where most people be working. That's what happens when you get wealthy and rich. You have the freedom to do that shit. And it gave me this like existential, I fuck that word. This epiphany. I was like, bro, you're both the same age. How are you working the same job as me? We just graduated college 4 months ago at the time. And he's a millionaire. Something's up. And it gave me that aha moment. You know, we're all very similar when we start school. You just get out of college and whatnot. Not much difference. Give it a few years, bro. You're going to see a massive difference. Some for the better, some for the worse. And when I looked at those YouTubers, yeah, I guess some people may say, oh, it's not a real job. Well, yes, it is. Because they're actually getting paid big money, and they're getting paid more than average. The people say, oh, it's not a real job. They're just jealous. If they could, click their fingers and get your position, they'll do that in a heartbeat. I can tell you that much for sure. I can tell you that much for sure. They'll do it in a heartbeat. But like I said in one of my videos in the past, if YouTube were easy, everyone would do it. I'm simply just chasing the childhood dream. What I usually found, and yes, it can be different for some kids in the sense of, they may want to be something when they're younger, and then it may change. And yes, you're a kid, man. You're still thinking, you don't really know much yet. Figuring it out. Like me, I remember when I was a kid, the first job I wanted to do was a fisherman. And that sounded like the coolest thing in the world. And if he asked me, Golden, why do you want to be a fisherman? I would reply, because I can get free fish. I look now, and with a lot of a wiser head on my shoulders, Golden, yes, that, if you truly want to do that, yeah. Alright, with any industry, they'll pay you enough to where you can get fish anyway, and buy fish. I love cod, right? You know the one that looks at chicken? I don't know if you Americans have that, but it's a shop called Iceland, a beautiful shop. I love cod. My favorite type of fish, always will be. And you can do that with any job. So then I matured. I was like, yeah, maybe I don't want to be a fisherman. I watched YouTube all my life, man, and I always looked at these YouTubers, bro. They looked like they were having a lot of fun. They looked really happy in their videos, and it's the fact that they're getting paid a lot. I was like, bro, I want to live like them. Them guys, I want to live like them. And it's a steepy road, I'm not gonna lie. I've been doing YouTube for 7 years. I started in 2018. I stopped on my first channel, made another channel, and I was 12 in 2018. Made another channel in 2020, I was 14. Stopped in 2022, I was 16. Then late 2022, 16 again, this channel. 3 years later, nearly 3 years later, I'm 19 now. Still going strong. So when I make YouTube videos, I enjoy it, man, honestly. And I love it so much, man. And bro, if you'll follow a pattern, and you've probably seen a pattern. The kids who do something when they're young, for a long time, that's usually what they end up doing in the future. The footballers that go to after school football club, or that kid that gets dismissed in class early because the teacher knows, he's bunking an important part of class, but she knows he's going to be a millionaire because he's so good at football. Yeah, it's probably going to let him pass. The person that plays basketball all the time, the person that does art all the time, bro. Them guys, they're going to succeed. If you do something young, you will succeed. The person that sings early, the person that plays instruments early, any job, it doesn't matter. The industry, everyone's different though, but when you have that childhood dream, you still want it so bad, you would chase it. And I feel the same with YouTube. I wanted to do this since I was a kid. And there was a lot of ebbs and flows, you know, trials and failures. I wouldn't say failed to YouTube channels, but it was more so a trial than, you know, the type of content I made back then isn't something that's, you know, really congruent to me now. Interests change, but I really truly believe this is the last channel that'll probably really take me off. Third time is the charm, right? So yeah, what do you make YouTube videos? I enjoy it, man. Nothing more to say. If I were to probably come up with anything more to say, she's probably just waffling now. So I'm gonna put that to a close. I'm gonna record 2 other videos right now.